I want to welcome you to another video segment of the Redox Doc video series on various health topics as they relate to redox biochemistry. I'm Dr. Ward, and today's topic is the allergy epidemic. Yeah, we've got an epidemic in industrialized countries like America. Over the last 20 to 30 years, there's been a real shift in the incidence of allergy and even severe allergic reactions in our country. So let's talk a little bit about those stats. First of all, according to the CDC, the actual incidence or prevalence of asthma in the United States during the last 20 years has increased by 50%. The peanut allergy has doubled in the country of Australia. And there's all kinds of curious experiences that people have had where school teachers who've been in a career for the last 30 years, you ask a school teacher what's the biggest change they've seen in health in children. One of the things they will always mention is the amount of children that have allergies, food allergies, environmental allergies. It's amazing. So what is allergy, first of all, and how does this relate to redox chemistry? Well, first of all, allergy is the way our body responds to foreign substances. So we're experiencing all kinds of foreign substances when we breathe, when we drink, when we eat, when we have contact with our skin. And our body has to recognize whether this is something that is foreign and dangerous or foreign and unimportant. The ability to recognize that depends on the surface of those molecules and our body's interaction with those surface contacts. And that very recognition requires redox molecules to do that recognition work with. So that's the basic mechanism. The body then decides if it's a threat or not. The problem comes in the confusion. If that identification process has a breakdown, then we're going to misrepresent that substance as either dangerous or not. So if this confusion causes an overreaction to something, then we're going to have a terrible allergic reaction called anaphylaxis, where we swell, our airway swells tight, we can't breathe, and we can die from that. And interestingly, there's been an epidemic of sales of what are called EpiPens. So these are portable little gadgets that you can give yourself a shot of epinephrine to stop an allergic reaction. The company that makes that has had a booming sales market. Why? Because we're very allergic, and it is a great way to save lives. But what's behind all that? That's what we're going to finish talking about today. But what if we underreact to a substance? What if we don't respond appropriately, and this substance, say it's a bacteria, gets a foothold in our body, starts to grow and replicate, and our body hasn't paid attention to it? We're in trouble there too. So either too much of a recognition or too little is not good for us. So we want just right, just like the porridge in the Three Bears. All right. So a just right reaction involves a functional or balanced immune system. So sometimes the way to understand what's balanced is to look at what's not. So let's take a look at a little bit about the immune system from a dysfunctional standpoint. So at the heart of our problems with our immune system is dysfunction, an imbalance. So medical treatment usually revolves around blocking an overreaction or to boost an underreaction. So there are prescriptions that you can take to stop allergy, like Claritin or any number of antihistamines. And that's fine, but it's temporary, it's symptomatic treatment, and it's not helping to fix or restore balance in our body. We can take desensitization shots at an allergist office. Again, this is more physiological, but it's only temporary. You have to come back a lot and redo and retest and figure out how to manipulate the response instead of getting to the core of why you've got a weird response in the first place. So let's focus in on that. How do you restore balance? The first critical piece is that we need to have a balanced redox potential within our cellular tissues in our entire body. So what does that term mean? We have a whole host of redox molecules that help our immune system do its work. They help with the communication between cells to recognize dangerous substances. It helps in the communication, like our cells talk to each other on cell phones, to make sure that they're getting their work done and responding in appropriate ways to mount an attack on a foreign substance, or to say, well, it's not a dangerous thing. All of this requires that you have the molecules to communicate with and to respond with. An example would be you would get a thorn or a foreign substance in your finger. The first thing that the immune system does to respond to that is to send redox molecules into the tissue and create inflammation to help draw in other factors to help the healing process. So if that doesn't happen right, well, this thing could go unchecked. That's the very first thing that happens. Those are real important, real redox molecules. And if you don't have enough of those or in the right balance, you don't even have the initial response that you need. So that's part of the critical way of restoring our balance, is to have a redox potential. And we'll talk a little bit about how to go about that. The second thing is to make sure that our gastrointestinal tract, our gut, has a healthy mixture of all different kinds of bacteria. It's a microbiome. It's like a little ecosystem in our gut, a forest. And we want a whole diversity of little bacteria that are going to provide health and balance to the lining of our gut, help to break down our food. And also remembering that if there's inflammation in there because there's imbalance, maybe some bad germs that are not so helpful to our body, that's going to create inflammation. And that inflammation is right next door to 80% of our immune system. The lymph nodes that live in our digestive tract are called the mesentery lymph nodes. And this is the majority of your whole immune system, lives just about an inch away from all of your poop and the lining of your intestinal tract. If that's not healthy and balanced, you've got a worried immune system, you're going to over or underreact, not good. So I would encourage you to go to the video that talks about the gut microbiome and check that out. There's also a newsletter that refers to that as well. Next, to be sure that you're adequately hydrated. So plenty of water in our body. We're mostly water. 70 to 80% water is what our body is. And if we don't keep a constant resource of taking in good water, we can't really function well. Our cells don't work so well, and they start to worry about the dehydration. In fact, there are many children that I've worked with over the years who were not drinking any water. They're drinking pop and milk and things like that. And their airways were dehydrated, and one of the responses is to wheeze when we're dry. And so when kids get hydrated, their wheezing goes away. It wasn't really allergy or asthma, it was dehydration. So when we're well hydrated, we restore balance in our immune system, and the stress signals kind of go away. So back to this number one, our redox potential. One great way to make sure we have plentiful resources of these little redox molecules is to consume a product that contains those. And so today we can do that. There are liquid supplements that you can consume that will provide a balanced sort of a bath of your body with these little molecules. And we can consume them internally. You can actually place them on with a topical gel. But most people, when they're working on their immune system, will take these internally as a liquid. And then as we provide them, the body kind of knows what they need, where to use them, and put them to work. And they're stabilized until we consume them. And then they go ahead and do their work in helping to restore balance of our immune system. So we've got an epidemic. We can respond to it best by getting aware of the truth of it and the seriousness of it, and to recognize that you don't have to just treat the symptoms. You can get to the core, work with your gut, work with being well hydrated, and provide your body some resources and supplement with these molecules to really make for a vibrant and healthy immune system. I hope that's helpful in getting you a little different perspective on our immune system, epidemic allergies and things of this sort that are